I'm doing the stream, not because I plan on streaming anything, but I have just discovered this article that has threatened to both enrage me and give me hope at the same time. And if you haven't guessed it already, based on the background, it's related to Mass Effect. Now, I have been so fucking reluctant to get my hopes up when it comes to the Mass Effect series ever since the whole Mass Effect 3 controversy. I was there and very active during that time, on the forums at least. I tried to plead with Casey Hudson on Twitter to get him to just come out and admit the indoctrination theory. There was so much stuff going on around the time of Mass Effect 3. There was a lot of anger, resentment, and it all started because Mike Gamble promised us 16 different endings on day of release, and all we got was, which explosion do you want, red, blue, or green? So needless to say, this pissed off the fan base. To call it fan backlash is a fucking understatement. The controversy, if you weren't there, the controversy surrounding Mass Effect 3's endings was so extreme that Bioware and EA have been paying for it ever since. For the first few years after the ending of Mass Effect 3 pissed everybody off, EA was getting voted worst company in America every single year following the Mass Effect 3 controversy. These guys managed to beat Slumlords with how much people hate them, to the point where the whole Mass Effect 3 controversy lowered shares in EA, got them threatened to be bought out by Microsoft. It all started with them pissing off the fan bases of Dragon Age Origins, Knights of the Old Republic, and when Mass Effect 3 came out and the controversy kicked off, people got so sick and tired of it that they drew up a fucking petition called the movement, the Retake Mass Effect 3 movement, drew up a petition to demand that they change the endings. And when they finally did agree to change, to add the extended cut DLC, which added the refusal ending, as the Legendary Edition calls it. It was basically taken by the vast majority of the fan base, especially everybody in the Retake Mass Effect movement, that basically, fuck you. The tensions between the fans and the developers were very, very high and very tense during that entire time. To call it backlash is an understatement. It was a full-blown rebellion. Full-blown fucking rebellion against the fact that, well, Bioware has basically in recent years just decided to destroy all three of their biggest fan bases with one after another. Dragon Age, Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, that was it. Bioware was such a loved company until Mass Effect 3, and it has taken so many of us years to get over everything that happened during the backlash days. For me, I couldn't even put Mass Effect 1 in my console. Mass Effect 1 was my favourite game of the original trilogy. I couldn't even put a single Mass Effect game in my console for 3 years following the Mass Effect 3 outrage. You know, to I've invested so much time in a character, in Shepard's character, that I had Renegade playthrough, Paragon playthrough, romancing Liara, romancing Caden, romancing Lemane, Ashley. I had male and female Shepard, all these different endings that I did for Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 1 and 2, to be told that it was all for nothing because, well, which explosion do you want, red, blue or green? Sorry, it doesn't matter if you chose Anderson for the council, you know, we've decided that it doesn't matter. So after everything kicked off, I pleaded with Casey Hudson to just come out and admit the indoctrination theory. I pleaded and pleaded and pleaded with Bioware. I didn't even think they were listening to me, to be honest, but... To this day, it's taken me... Well, it took me 10 years before I could even bring myself to play Mass Effect properly again. Before I could actually play it and complete it, start to finish. 10 years. I'm threatening to get my hopes up with this new article, but at the same time, I don't want to. So this article is... Oh. This article is basically, it's the Gaming Bible site. Mass Effect 3 canon ending leaves fans divided ahead of Mass Effect 5. Which will be Mass Effect 5? Which ending will Mass Effect 5 follow? It's like, It starts off by going on about the basics of the controversy surrounding Mass Effect 3, and then goes on to say about a quote. Bioware's quotes during the I think I'm just gonna fucking read it to you. Yeah. Mass Effect fans are divided over what could be the true canon ending before the release of Mass Effect 5. Currently, not its official title. Released in 2012, BioWare's Mass Effect 3 is considered one of the best sci-fi RPGs of all time, and I agree. I'm just gonna hold my opinion. In my humble opinion, Mass Effect 2 is the best of the original trilogy, but they're all superb games in their own right. Initially, Mass Effect 3 had 3 endings: Destroy, Control, and Synthesis. We're not going down that road again. This is where it threatens to piss me off. See? However, following major fan backlash... Oh, it's a fucking understatement. It's like... However, following major fan backlash regarding its endings, BioWare later added a new and fourth ending via free DLC called Refusal. It was, called Refusal. And let's face it, we all know that's true. We were all very angry back in those days. Each of the 4 endings in Mass Effect 3 was not only dependent on your actions in the game, but also the 2 games that came before, so it can be a bit messy, to say the least. Just a heads up, I will try my best to avoid spoilers for a 13-year-old game, but there may be spoilers ahead. None of the 4 endings of Mass Effect 3 are considered to be the true ending, as each one can be considered canon for the individual player. That being said, Destroy is probably my pick of the bunch. So it's also the ending that centers around the indoctrination theory. If you haven't ever heard anything about the indoctrination theory, there's some amazing videos on YouTube that'll go into it. Some of them have been around since the Mass Effect 3 controversy. I would highly recommend that you actually go and watch the original ones. Many videos have been made surrounding the indoctrination theory over the years, but if you are going to actually watch a video, I highly recommend you watch the original ones, the ones that were actually made during the entire time that everybody was hating on Mass Effect 3's endings, because these ones are the ones that sparked it all. Everybody else has just adapted from these ones. If it doesn't say it was uploaded 13 years ago, don't watch it. Because the ones that were uploaded 13 years ago are exactly the ones that, yeah, started it all. And it's, yeah, we're not going down that conversation a minute. I'll put a pin on that for a second. Let's finish reading this, because I'll just end up repeating myself otherwise. None of the 4 endings of Mass Effect 3 are considered to be the true ending, as each one can be considered canon for the individual player. That being said, Destroy is probably my pick of the bunch. With that in mind, Reddit user No Soy Verde 1 asked, "Alright, so canon ending? Question mark. Canon? There are none yet, in brackets. Say, anyone saying differently just projects their own preferences onto it," replied Shiro Kahima. I hope I'm saying that right. With adding the real trinity, everyone has their own ending. Alright, I think the consensus is the Refuse and Synthesis can't be canon based on the teaser trailer leaving Control and Destroy. It explained why do I even bother, alluding to Mass Effect 5's trailer revealed at the Game Awards 2020. The guests appear to be in the next game, meaning Control isn't impossible, but Destroy could easily say, "Oh, you know, a few Geth were hidden in a bunker and survived," they continued. It's like, well, it's one thing people are forgetting reading this conversation. It's like, it's easy for them to say, well, oh, Destroy could easily Destroy could easily say, "Oh, you know, a few Geth were hidden in a bunker and survived." It's like, you're forgetting the indoctrination theory. Like I said, if you haven't already watched the videos, I highly recommend you look it up. Is teasing this shit. There's a very, very high chance they're gonna go with the indoctrination ending. Which is why I'm threatening to get my hopes up. Because if this is true, if this is true, like, I don't want to get my fucking hopes up because Bioware hasn't exactly been acting their best over the past few years. And they haven't been putting as much attention to detail as they once did into the games. I mean, the Legendary Edition was released with so many bugs. For a Bioware game to be released with that many bugs says you've stopped caring. I hope they are actually choosing to go with the indoctrination theory, because if they do, it could literally revive Mass Effect. And a revival of Mass Effect is something that we all need, Bioware included. The whole controversy over the ending of Mass Effect 3 broke so many people's hearts. Bioware's included. We all hated on each other. They had blaming, everyone was just hurling abusive comments at each other all throughout the entire controversy. Casey Hudson had tried to calm everybody down. Both sides were just bitching on the fucking forums back at each other, and all of us that were saying about the indoctrination theory. I hope this is fucking true. I really do hope this is true. But Mass Effect was such an amazing game series, and it doesn't deserve to stay dead. Please tell me, Bioware. Please tell me. Otherwise, please don't. Please don't make another Mass Effect game if you are not going to put your hearts into it. Because I do not want to have to live another round of Mass Effect 3's controversy. Most of us only wanted you to admit that the indoctrination theory was real. I pleaded with Casey Hudson to just come out and admit it so that everyone would calm down. Please tell me that you are finally ready to admit that the indoctrination theory was the way you intended to go with it all along, because if you cannot, it never made sense to all of us that believed in that indoctrination theory, because it's like, why would you abandon the dark energy plot of number 2 for an ending that ultimately just, pissed everybody off? If this indoctrination theory is going to be the way that you're going with this, then just put your whole heart into it, because that's the only thing that's going to actually revive Mass Effect. Don't do a half-ass effort like you did with the Legendary Edition to just throw it out there for, you know, test the waters. You know, the original trilogy didn't have any real bugs in it. Legendary Edition had loads. Especially when it came to the dialogue. Please tell me that you are actually finally going to do this. We knew anyway. Got mixed feelings about this too. I don't want to get my hopes up, but at the same time I want to get my hopes up. So I'll put a link to the original indoctrination theory video on this video once I'm finished. It's up to you guys, make up your own mind, but I'm trying my hardest not to get my hopes up. But I won't deny that this news does give me a little bit of hope for the future. Say, myself and many like me, many of us, we played Mass Effect so religiously that we literally did everything we could possibly do in the game. Say, as both male and female shepherd. Say, we all broke each other's hearts back in the days of Mass Effect 3. And I hope this is a sign that we're finally ready to heal this rift. I'd love to fucking see Bioware back to the company I remember them to be, that got me pouring my heart out. Amazing stories. Making me so pissed off that I was determined to beat the bad guy. I could have reserved my judgment for the time being, but yeah, I'll keep that little spark of hope alive.